It was in October of just this past year, as it has done every year in its existence, Minnetonka High School crowned its homecoming queen. Unfortunately, this year at Minnetonka High School, the queen couldn't be there because at that time she was in a coma fighting for her life. Well, she not only lived, she graduated from high school, and Mike Brunswick was at her graduation at Minnetonka High School last week. Let's watch.
Homecoming 1991, Minnetonka High School. The king is here with his parents. The queen's parents are alone. They are greeted with voracious enthusiasm, but their smiles do not come easily because their daughter is lying in a hospital bed, still mildly comatose. In the room are symbols of her royalty. Her crown sits near the bedside. The scent of a queen's roses fills the air. And a newspaper headline boldly reminds everyone that 17-year-old Lori Gerke was always meant to be queen, even though she was elected weeks after the accident. Here she is just days before her tragedy, practicing one of her greatest loves, downhill skiing. She was very good at this, maybe too good. On August 14th, here on Mount Hood, near Portland, Oregon, Lori took a run by herself on a public trail. Some of the glacier snows had melted away, exposing some rocks. She hit one, landed headfirst, then crushed her skull. Comatose, living only on life support, few expected her to survive. Pieces of her skull were wired back together. The doctors said they had never seen a head so badly broken. A piece of her skull was even frozen in a bone bank until they were ready to replace it.
Tonight's the parade in a few minutes, and then the homecoming game.
By October 4th, homecoming day, Lori Gerke had already much improved. She was out of her deep coma and into a mild one.
You got a good, strong cough, too. That's great. I want to help you, but I can't.
Usually staring ahead, occasionally a tear was visible, sometimes a smile. It seemed the girl many thought was gone forever was instead on her way back.
I love you so much.
There seems to be an awful lot of love in the air surrounding you.
Yeah. Thank God.
Within just a few months, Lori was out of her coma, out of bed, on her feet, and talking.
What's the first thing you remember following the accident?
Oh, my mom.
Your mother?
Yeah, when she told me I was going.
They say the day she was first told she had been elected queen, a tear rolled down her cheek. It was a clear sign she understood. With friends and family almost constantly by her bedside, Lori never lacked a sense of support.
And I thought, oh my God, they really care.
Some of that caring came even from strangers. Sherry Melander, a model featured in a July newspaper story, wrote Lori a 3-page letter. Sherry was told her crippling illness would end her modeling career, but she struggled back. She wrote to Lori, "I was so impressed by your strength and courage. You might not realize it now, but someday I'm sure you will be able to offer so many other people hope by being a positive role model for them."
This is the nicest letter I've ever gotten in my whole entire life. For sure.
Come one more keeps turning into 5 more. You just don't want to quit, do you?
Lori has become an incredible role model. She has stamina and a rather stubborn determination to become an athlete again.
I still see hope for this situation. Like I can still see myself playing top ball and tennis someday. And maybe ski again.
On Christmas Day 1991, Lori surprised her grandmother, who was expecting her to arrive in a wheelchair.
And I walked my grandma and she started crying. I like Merry Christmas. And she started crying. I'm like, Merry Christmas, Grandma, and I walked over to her.
Many were surprised when she began to walk, but now it's likely that few will be surprised the day she's back on the slopes.
Lori, the weekend after your accident, a bunch of us got together and we had a car wash, and we raised a little over $350 for it.
On January 28th, Minnetonka's 1991 homecoming queen was back in school and is expected to graduate with her class in June. As she slowly climbs the steps on her way to her first class, you can hear her saying to herself, "Lori Gerke is coming," when in fact, Lori Gerke is here, an accomplishment that is simply amazing.
This is more than a story about the miracles of modern medicine, because now Lori's progress is pretty much up to Lori. So this is a story about attitude and about real miracles.
Like the miracle that took place on the night of February 6th, less than 6 months from the day she cracked open her skull, Lori Gerke is back on skis. She's still got a long way to go, but from here on out, it's all downhill.
I hung in there. I hung in there. I'm just afraid that I get better. Or like it was before. Will I be good now?
Hi. How are you? Oh my God! Oh my God! Where are you? Oh my!
Lori Gerke is getting better every day. As she put it on this day, "I've even become an inspiration to myself." It's June 10th, 1992, 10 months since the accident that should have killed her. Instead, Lori is graduating from high school, despite the fact that a tragedy interrupted her life.
This is a big day for you. You've come a long way.
Oh my God! I never thought this day would be possible, you know?
10 months ago, almost no one thought this day would be possible. But not only is she graduating from high school, Lori has been accepted at Augsburg College in Minneapolis.
I'm gonna do good, try my hardest, and hopefully be like a nutritionist or a school teacher. But I don't know. That's kind of expecting a lot, huh?
It's not expecting a lot from Lori Gerke, Minnetonka High School's miracle homecoming queen.
Lori L. Gerke.
This is the hometown team, WCCO4 News.
Hello, I'm Amelia Santinello.
And I'm Don Shelby. Tonight, in the wake of Sonny Bono's sudden death on ski slopes, a local woman is encouraging skiers to wear helmets. Lori Gerke was a competitive skier. That all changed after a skiing accident. Gerke didn't hit a tree like Sonny Bono did. She hit rocks. WCCO's Jim King joins us live from a ski hill in Bloomington with a story of a personal plea for helmets on the slopes. Jim?
Yeah, that's absolutely right, Don. And in fact, accidents, as we know and we've heard recently, can happen so quickly on slopes. The accident that you're referring to in Lori happened out in Oregon, out at Mount Hood. Now, she says that an accident like the one that she had could have been prevented by wearing a helmet, and she hopes that the attitudes about helmets are changing.
So important for people that wear a helmet is because you never would know what's going to happen. It doesn't take that much to wear a helmet, but the benefits can be so huge. They can save your life.
Lori Gerke's adamant about helmets. It's because at one point she was a competitive racer who constantly pushed the limits. Pushed the limits until that fateful day at Oregon's Mount Hood in 1991 when she went too far.
When I, tried rolling my ankles, I lost control and just went flying into the headfirst into the pile of rocks.
Lori suffered massive head injuries which left her in a coma for 11 weeks.
I just remember waking up to a lot of people around my bed. Sam, settle down.
She's come a long way since we visited with her in October of 1991. At that time, she was struggling through a challenging rehabilitation. Lori's convinced that if she'd been wearing a helmet, things would have been different. And now she hopes that people will take advantage of new equipment and recent awareness.
And I just think, wow, you're so lucky. I mean, it's the thing to do, I mean, nobody even thought about it when I was skiing. maybe they said, yes, you should wear a helmet, but nobody listened because nothing traumatic had happened yet.
But of course now a lot traumatic has happened. Of course her accident as well as Sonny Bono and Michael Kennedy Jr. Just an observation when I'm looking at the kids on the slopes here. The older ones, a lot of them are not wearing helmets, but the younger ones are, and they have some cool colors and that type of thing, and it's actually kind of fun for them to have different helmets, and so it's making them fun, and that's an attitude that of course Lori wants and many others in light of all the tragedies.
Yeah, America's way behind on all of this. In Europe, it's demanded that those helmets be worn by children on all slopes.
Yeah, you make a good point. It's demanded. Also, they give cut rates to some of the tickets that you get to go on the slopes if you do have a helmet. So there's some incentive there as well overseas, but not here in the States, as you mentioned.
All right, thank you very much. Now, we know that ski helmets start at about $100.
A 46-year-old St. Paul